Ready? All right, so what is your name?
Denise Camp.
And how long have you been associated with the Oakwood Cemetery?
Well, my dad actually worked for the city of Hickory back in the 1980s. He did some stuff around there. He worked with the electrics, the stoplights around Hickory. But for myself, I have been doing genealogy since probably the early 1990s. And I found a lot of my ancestors. In fact, these were people on my dad's side of the family, his mother's side. A lot of them are buried in Oakwood Cemetery, I have found through my genealogy research. The first one was probably in 1909, and then the most recent I think that I've found was 2010. It's part of that same family. They're just their generations. So, and there's just a lot of family members through the 1920s, 30s, 40s. I've found 80s and 90s people have been buried over there in this family. Not just Oakwood Cemetery, but the House Chapel or Fairview Cemetery over off of 321. I found several people in this same family that were buried over there too. So I've been in both places.
So what made you start looking up your family history and things of that nature?
My grandmother, and this is my dad's mother, it's on her side of the family actually. Somebody had told her, well, she had always heard growing up that her grandfather, her mother's dad, was in the Civil War, and he was at Gettysburg. She said that somebody told her there was a book out that had his picture in it. Come to find out that it's the Catawba Soldier of the Civil War. It was published back in 1912 or something. It does have his picture in there. So she wanted me to see if I could find it. This was like early 1990s. See if I could find the book, see if I could find any information on him. So that's kind of what me started.
So you have like a lot of soldiers and stuff like that in your family?
I have several between my mom and my dad's side of the family that were in the Civil War. I've got a couple that was in the Revolutionary War that I have found.
So our project is on sacred spaces. Do you consider the Oakwood Cemetery to be sacred?
Yes, because it's been there for so long. There's just so many families that have people buried in there. It's just so big. It's a part of Hickory. It's just been right there in the center of Hickory, the city of Hickory, for so long, so many decades. It's just, I don't know, you can even making the trip from Lenoir, where I live, up in Caldwell County, down to Hickory is just kind of a strange feeling. Even whether it's Oakwood or over at the House Chapel or the Fairview Cemetery, either one.
So you said it's strange feeling. So how do you feel when you actually walk onto the cemetery, or if you go and visit any of your family members, like grave sites or whatever? How do you feel? Like
Just kind of just a closeness to them, kind of identification, because these people were buried so many years ago, and I never met any of them. Particularly the ones way back, and it's just kind of get the feeling there of we're related. Never met you, didn't really know a lot on that side of the family. Now, of course, my grandmother did, my father did, but I never really met any of them. But just through the information that I've been able to find through records and documents and things, going to the grave sites, I've got pictures, of the tombstones and stuff, and it's just. Yeah, I would just say it's just that kind of a sacred feeling that when you walk there, and I just hope that the people, and I think that it will continue just for the city of Hickory, not just for the Hickory city, but I know there's a lot of people that have moved out of Hickory, out into Catawba County, even out into other areas that still have people, have family buried there in both places.
Do you know any of the history of the Oakwood Cemetery?
Just some of the information that I've found over the years. I'm not exactly sure what year it started, but I know that it's been there a long time, and it's very large.
Is there any particular experiences that you had with the Oakwood Cemetery? Like anything major that happened when you went there, or that makes it special to you, besides the fact that your family members are buried there?
No, just can't particularly remember any particular thing, but just when I go like to the grave sites of my ancestors.
When you go to the Oakwood Cemetery, do you just go by yourself, or do you have other people that come along with you?
One time my husband and I had went.
Have you, over the years, have you seen anything change with the Oakwood Cemetery as far as decorations, or people coming more or less than they used to, things like that?
Well, there's a lot of people there's some people, that would come like every day. Some make it just like on somebody's birthday, anniversary, something like that. But I think they do a very good job of keeping it up over there. I mean, it's a large space, a lot to mow, a lot of grass to mow, weed eat, and, try to be careful going around all those stones and things. And I think the city of Hickory does a good job of keeping that up.
So would you say that the Oakwood Cemetery is important to the people of Hickory, or like the people who used to stay in Hickory before?
I think so.
And what do you think is going to happen with the Oakwood Cemetery in future times? Like, do you think it will stay the same, or less people will start coming, or?
I think it'll stay about the same for at least a while longer. I don't know how close they are to maybe being full. I don't know how much space that they actually have. If they're, if they're in a position to maybe have more space to increase it, enlarge it. But I think for what's there, the families, there's still a lot of families around here. And I think it'll probably stay about the same. People visiting. Of course, I know people have spouses buried in there. They pass away and all. But I think it'll still be very important to the city of Hickory, to the people surrounding areas that have people buried in there. Like I said, I make the trip from Lenoir in Caldwell County to Hickory, and there's probably people that live around that do that too. I don't know.
And I know you said that you studied genealogy or whatever. So are you going to continue doing that? Keep going on back farther than what you've already found?
I'm trying.
And besides Oakwood Cemetery, have you found any other places like in the surrounding area where you found your family members buried at?
There's, I found some private type family cemeteries out in Catawba County. And I'm trying to get a list of those to go visit some of those. They're like off down near Newton. There's some down out from Conover. There's some down near the Catawba line, county line. And I figure I will probably find more. There's some of the churches that are in Hickory. That have a lot of those churches that have been there for a long, long time. I've found that some have got some ancestry. They were members of those churches and they're buried in their cemeteries. So I'm trying to get a list to go to visit a lot of these places in and around Hickory, Catawba County, because a big part of my dad's family lived in Catawba County. Some of them moved up toward Caldwell County. That's the reason I was born and raised in Caldwell County.
Okay, this is my final question, unless you have one. So, like I said, our class is about sacred space. So what definition would you give for the word sacred? Because many people have many different definitions of sacred. So in your words, what's the definition of sacred?
Just that you can go and maybe feel a kinship with your ancestors that are in this case buried in that cemetery, or any of the cemeteries, whether it's the big city one or the little church ones in and around Catawba County.
So basically just a closeness.
Yeah, to me. And I know that would vary with, from people to people, person to person.
Do you have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.